Hello, welcome everyone to the Distraction Reviews here on a Tuesday. I'm Jeremy Lambert, joined as always by the Marine, Joe Hulbert. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I mean, I'm interested how long that one's going to stick because I know you kind of mix it up and it's like a varied thing. And I don't think we're going to review another Marine. So that may be the only time you call me that. But just between me and you, Jeremy, I'm happy for that to be a full-time nickname that I run on this show. The Marine Joe Holbert is a incredible choice, I must say. But I'm good. I'm ready.
You might be, because as we saw in this film, like, the Marine died, so they need a new one.
They sure do. I mean, I don't know if need is the right word, but if they intend to, yes, they would need a new one. But I feel like, probably the best choice is just never having another Marine. But we'll get to that, I guess, as we pile away through this motion picture.
It is our Tuesday show where we review movies starring wrestlers. We do 3 shows a week here on Fightful.com. Thursdays, we actually talk about wrestling. Saturdays, we play TEW. We have 2 months worth of content in the can, everybody. I have booked a pay-per-view. Joe has booked a pay-per-view. We have 6 weeks of television booked out. We're on the road to SummerSlam right now. People watching this week, it's only the second week. We are all the way into July in our TEW save.
Yeah, and if you're watching this and you watch this show consistently, and you didn't just hear that news and stand up and applaud for us, I don't know what you're doing, because that is a real feat, and we do deserve credit. I want to make it clear, Jeremy. Right? We're not being humble about this. Please give us our credit for actually doing this series legitimately.
I think the first time we tried this, we did like 2 weeks and we did a pay-per-view. And then we did more, but there were so many technical issues with it that it never even got released. So yeah, the fact that we've done 2 months and it's all like edited together and I can release it on schedule and whatnot is a very big accomplishment for both of us.
Yeah, and a couple of things. Firstly, one of those episodes is a better film than what we watched here. The editing was better, it was sharply put together. And the other thing, am I correct in saying that that pay-per-view we booked, I guess a year ago now, contained a glitch I've never seen since, in which one of my matches got null that was not actually a null? This happened, right? And it got like 0. And it was just never, it came back as being an actual 75 and it just said 0 for no reason. That always has stood out to me about that. For all the technical difficulties, the game stopped working too, which is amazing to me.
If you can't tell, we'd much rather just talk about our TEW series than this film we both had to watch. I'm going to go ahead and apologize to you because we both, each week, we go in order of who gets to pick the film. And last week, you picked No Holds Barred, and then I picked the Marine 6 for us to watch this week. I apologize for picking this film. I'm going to spoil our ratings right now. This is a nothing film. Like, this is just... There's not a whole lot to talk about. The Marine 6, Close Quarters, starring... They got 3 WWE superstars in this film. The Miz, Becky Lynch, and Shawn Michaels. And it's an hour and a half of the same scene 5 times.
Yeah, I mean, I think you overthought this one. I think you felt you were doing something comedic by giving me a Shawn Michaels film to watch.
Backfired.
My hope was that Shawn Michaels would be bad enough that I could poke fun at him for an hour on The Distraction. He is not even bad in this film, which is the biggest thing about this film. Right, I'm going to get into it here, Jeremy, eventually, but the thing that's amazing about this film is the 3 wrestlers are not bad in this film, and it's still a terrible movie, which is actually quite impressive when you consider the whole selling point is that it's got wrestlers in it. Amazing feat, it really is.
We're going to just quickly recap this film, and then we'll try to find something to talk about. The film is essentially Becky Lynch's dad is on trial, and so they kidnap one of the jurors' daughters, or the juror's daughter, and hold her hostage and say, hang the jury so we can go to a mistrial. The Marines, Shawn Michaels and The Miz, stumble upon this whole plan here, and then literally it's just they're in the same little space for... Did you get this? This was 13 days worth of stuff that happened? Did you understand this?
No, I had no idea.
So, the opening scene, or one of the opening scenes is, they kidnap the daughter and they call the juror and they're like, you got your daughter, go to a hung trial. And then later in the film, when they're doing like the news reports, like it's been 13 days now as the jury has been debating this film. Did I dream this? Like, I swear this line is in the movie.
I mean, I've definitely not got the authority to say you dreamed it. There was definitely about 20 minutes into this, I'd stop watching. But if that is true, that is the most incredible thing ever, because I legitimately thought it happened in one day.
Yeah,
so,
I did too. But
I have no idea. I have no clue.
When I heard this, like, maybe it was like the trial has been going on for 13 days, and they're just now at the jury deliberation. But
yes,
that's the only thing that maybe it's what it was supposed to be. I don't know. This film was terrible. So the Marines stumble on to this whole thing where Becky Lynch has got the kid kidnapped, and they get her back. They fight their way through. There's some amazing twists and turns that you'll never see coming. Everyone should go watch it right now. And then finally it's over, and everyone lives happily ever after, except for the Miz, who dies. That's it. That's the film.
And then it's over. And like, the one thing about this film that isn't true is that everyone lives happily ever after, and we still went with it just because you wanted to wrap it up. I want to start here. The opening scene to this film is extraordinary.
This is literally, I wrote down one note, and this is it. It's just Shawn Michaels and The Miz do MMA training. That's the only note I wrote down.
So this is my note for this scene, Jeremy. There are many sparring matches I'd like to see in professional wrestling history. However, this may be the two bottom names on that list. I am not sure there have ever been two men that succeeded in professional wrestling with a reputation further from like badass or tough guy, and here they are throwing like Superman punches at each other, chatting away while they block, and like Shawn's like the smart veteran, right? And Miz is like, I can see everything you're doing, and then Shawn hits him. See that one, pal? And it's like, wow, this is going to be terrible. I just thought it was amazing that those were, like, even you saying the words earlier, you're just going through the film. You're just recapping it. You say, the Marines, Shawn Michaels and The Miz. Just what an incredible thought. I'm not saying this film would be better with different people. That's definitely not what I'm saying. I'll make clear. But there was something comedic about these two guys having this fight. Like, it was supposed to be like, my God, look how tough these two fellas are. Just great. I loved it.
I legitimately had high hopes for this film after this scene. Like, this is why I wrote this down I was like, this scene is amazingly terrible. Great. Like, this is what we're going to get. It's going to be just an awesomely bad film. I can't wait to just pick it apart and review it and everything. And it's all downhill after this scene. Just this one scene is what it is. Shawn Michaels and The Miz doing MMA training. It sounds as amazing as I make it sound. And after this, it's just a nothing film.
Well, I want to make it clear that when you say, I think your phrase was, they stumble into this situation. Like, that's not a lie, right? That's not exaggeration. That's not us trying to poke fun at this film. They legitimately just like, oh, there's some noise out there. Let's go in that room. And that is then the film. The whole film is them trying to get out of this situation they got themselves into. There's no kind of like up and down in pacing or drama, or there's no... It literally, about 8 minutes into the film, you're in the premise that will then be the rest of the film. And it's just like... the film is set up as such that it's like 6 minutes of nothing happens, and it's just some bad dialogue. And then you have a really overly sequenced fight scene, and then just loop again and again and again. And none of it means anything more than the last scene. I can't believe I'm reviewing this like it's an actual film, but the problem is, as we just spoke about briefly off air, there's so little comedically here for us that I have no idea how to even approach it. Like, I want to stress to you, okay, if you're watching this, you think, oh, this sounds like a terrible film, I'm going to go watch it. No, do not do that, okay? This is not like, No Holds Barred, but you're going to laugh at how bad it is. Nothing like that at all. It's just a bad film with no good ideas or interesting thoughts at all. That's the only way I can sum it up, basically.
Yes, please don't watch this film. Like, if you do, we've given you a warning that you're going to be wasting your time. Do not, if you watch this film and be like, they're making it out to be more than what it is. Like, they're ribbing me here, and you go watch it and you realize it's terrible. It's not our fault. You've watched on your own volition. We tried to warn you. This is not a rib or anything like that. It's just a bad film. Do something better with your hour and a half.
Yes, I would agree. I mean, there are some things, though, Jeremy, that I would like to get into, some topics that came to me. And the first one I want to go with here is is Tommy, the character Tommy, who is he's the actual reason they're there, correct? I don't know if you could recap this better than me, but he refuses to leave this place, and he's he's an old guy. He lost his son, correct? Who Miz was with in the Marines, and he's like he's the old veteran who helps them out and eventually dies too. Am I correct in saying this? Right?
Yes.
My question for you, Jeremy, if we were to recast Tommy as a professional wrestling personality, who would you say? Because I have a few candidates jotted down here, but I'm going to throw it to you. Any names that come to mind that could have played Tommy that could have made this more fun for us?
The Undertaker is the quickest name that I could think of.
Okay, I accept The Undertaker. He was on my list. I'm going to raise you with two names. One is, a little bit out there. The other one is insane. Arn Anderson was my first candidate for this role.
Okay.
Which to me, Arn with his glasses kind of hanging off the edge of his nose in this film would have been extraordinary. My other name was Jim Ross, which I think is perhaps my greatest idea ever in the history of this program. And we've had a lot of good ideas, Jeremy, as you know. Imagine this film, just imagine it, you've seen it, all the great shots in this film, and insert Jim Ross as Tommy. And is it the best film ever just by default at that point?
I think if you put Jim Ross into anything, if nothing else, it gives us more talking points. Good or bad, it'll give us more talking points.
Yes, and this is the thing is, it's one of those deals where when I watch these films, and I've got to be honest, I haven't watched a lot of WWE Studios films, especially the recent ones, because they are like this, they're terrible. But when I watch them, I have no idea why they cast real actors in any of these scenes. Do you? If they're going to be led by professional wrestlers, they may as well just make it a full bit and just have every person in it be a professional wrestler of some kind. Imagine this guy was Ole Anderson or something. Imagine the hilarity of that. Why do we have to have an actual actor in this scene with Shawn Michaels and The Miz? It's just no need for it. Go all in is my suggestion to the people that make these films.
So it's basically like the main event. I guess the main event had real actors too, but they had wrestlers playing the wrestlers. I think that's the thing is the main star can be an actor, but unless it's an actual wrestler, wrestlers can't play anything but wrestlers.
I mean, that comes in pretty handy because Shawn Michaels legitimately just plays Shawn Michaels. And so this is my deal, okay? So, and this is the really interesting debate of this. Really interesting, I promise. Am I wrong in saying The Miz is the worst of the three actors in this film from professional wrestling? Which is amazing because he is in, I think, about 15 of these films. Yeah, this is my genuine take.
I thought Becky Lynch was the best.
Yes.
I was going to ask you this later, but I thought Becky Lynch was the best. And look, Michaels and The Miz, neither are that great. I would say Michaels was slightly better than The Miz.
Because it seems, maybe it's because we haven't watched the Marine 3, 4, 5, 25, 27.
Just wait until my next pick, Joe.
Yeah, I'm sure. But Miz as the baby face is weird enough to me. I couldn't deal. Maybe it's because I didn't have the emotional connection and the layers that were developed in the prior films, which is a question I have noted here in itself. Okay, how bad must those 5 films be that I could watch 6 and have no problem understanding what's going on? Did they do nothing in these other 5 films? I was very confused by that element of it.
Well, this is my question to you: of the Miz dies in this film, and this throws me completely off guard. I just figured he was going to be the Marine until the Marine 30 or something when he finally passes the torch, and even then, who knows? But he dies in this film, and then the ending scene is essentially like a recap of his entire Marine career. And so I had 2 questions. The first question was, do you think we would have had more emotional attachment if we're watching him? He tries to be the big hero. He goes in with his gun and he just gets shot up by all the bad guys in the, I guess they're in like a cave or something, a tunnel.
Yes.
Would we have more emotional attachment if we've seen the Marine? I think he started at 3, so 3, 4, and 5. And then 2, did this final video montage make you want to go back and watch 3, 4, and 5?
I'm pretty sure my answer to all those questions is no. Here's the deal. I think I would have cared more. When he has the courageous scene where he's firing himself up to go and do it, he's basically sacrificing himself, because there's a little reference earlier on where Shawn references a job where he took a bullet, basically, right? And he says, "You owe me one, that'll deal." And this is the payoff to that, because Miz, He's already got a bullet in him, and I'm going to go out there. I'm going to sacrifice myself. Make sure you save the young girl, Sarah. Thank you, Jeremy. And that may have hit me if I'd have watched the other 29 films. But the problem was, and I say this to someone that likes The Miz. Okay, I'm not trying to be, that guy. His acting in this death scene is probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And again, I like the man, but he is doing like full, like Tropic Thunder satire cells on these bullets hitting him. His mouth, he's like flinging open. He's falling to his knee. It's so bad. So no, I could have watched all of these films 10 times over, and I still would have been laughing as The Miz died, which is, it's a shame. It's a real shame. But I'm going to turn it on you and say, how few people in the world watch these films that me and you did not know Miz died in this. Like, how has this not been a thing on Twitter? We both follow a ton of wrestling accounts, right? Why has no one informed us that the Marine is no more? This feels like it should be a thing that people discussed on Twitter, at least with some laughs one day. Does no one watch these films? I have no idea.
Maybe it was, and we missed it. It was so brief.
It might be, yeah.
I have no idea. Yeah, I didn't know he died. I don't know if the series is discontinued. I don't think it is. They're gonna do the Marine 7. Who plays the new Marine now?
I mean, it was Randy Orton after Cena, right?
No, it was. Did Orton do? I thought they did Ted DiBiase Jr. because Orton, like, there was the whole thing where he was actually dishonorably discharged in real life. Yeah.
So what film did Orton do?
I don't think Orton did the "I'll go to the papers" film. You got to remember the "I'll go to the papers" line. Oh my god!
Absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
YouTube Randy Orton "Go to the papers." It's amazing. It's an amazing scene. I don't know the name of the film, but it's an amazing scene.
Okay, so we need a guy that fit. I mean, I don't know who even fits this bill now. Austin Theory is an absolute
yes, 100%. Austin Theory is gonna be the Marine for the next decade.
And then everyone can tweet their like side by sides of him and Cena like they're the same wrestler, even though there's not like, other than the fact that they look somewhat similar, kind of. They have no similarities as wrestlers, and everyone they've just decided they were going to be the same person. It's amazing to me. So the Marine would help that case. I do want to go back. I want to circle back quickly because I don't want to let you mention it and then me not kind of dunk this alley-oop that you've done to me. That tribute portion at the end, I couldn't believe how funny that was. So I'm going to just describe. I mean, you've described it well enough, but I'll just do it just so I can kind of map it out in my own head. But the film is like an hour and 20 in, and it's done. The film is finished. There is no more film to be shown or seen or heard from. Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, has saved the day. He has saved Sarah. He has killed Becky Lynch, and he has lost his friend, The Miz, who is not called The Miz, but for the sake of this, he's The Miz. And then the film kind of like, it stops, it ends, and we see what I would assume is 3 minutes, I would say it is, a music video of just shots of The Miz killing people, kissing women, just being cool, bleeding, looking like being a Marine, fighting Summer Rae, fighting Bo Dallas, right? And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, okay, so what's going to happen here? Are we going to find out The Miz is alive after all? Are we going to see some sort of graphic about the next Marine? The film just ends. It literally was just a tribute to The Miz at the end of the film without any context of just, The Miz is gone now, so let's pay homage to The Miz. That is exceptional. In fact, I'm going to go as far as say, Jeremy, don't watch the film, but find a version of this film, a copy of this film, and just go to the last 5 minutes just to see how hilariously out of place it is. It just goes from being a normal film to being a highlight reel of The Miz. It's amazing.
All right, this part I'm pretty sure I did dream. Did they use "Tell Me a Lie" for this tribute video?
I don't know. I mean, all I got from the music to me was so background to the imagery. But I'll just say yes to encourage you on this bit. But like, I couldn't believe what was going on because it was clearly the end of the film. We were going to get. It wasn't like it went back to Shawn Michaels after that. Right. I'm not missing this. It just went straight to credits.
Yeah, it went to the credits.
It's great.
They just tacked on a tribute video at the end of this movie to The Miz and his character. And I swear, look, if the song wasn't "Tell Me a Lie," it sounded exactly like it. And if if someone can edit this montage together to tell me a lie, I won't pay you anything, but I'll give you a very gracious shout out on this show and plenty of retweets and love and admiration, because I think that would be amazing.
I do think we should, me and you had a lot of fun about the real kayfabe shit, bro. And you've said you thought Becky was the best wrestling actor in this film, which I guess makes him the best actor because there's about 5 people in the whole film.
Okay, let's get into a couple things here.
Okay.
2 things. First, you mentioned the Miz's death scene. Both of the death scenes were that over the top, like, how they sell the bullets, and when Tommy dies, he does like, it's getting dark out here, remember all these good times and whatnot.
Don't let him in, boy. Don't let him in.
It's that whole thing. So both the death scenes were just the over-the-top nonsense. Becky Lynch may have been the best actor/actress in this film. This girl, Sarah, she was awful, wasn't she?
So bad.
She was terrible.
And there were times where I just didn't know what she was even going for.
Yeah.
And I actually made a note of it, and I didn't think you were going to go there, so I was just going to leave her and not ever talk about her. Because it just felt like I didn't want to, kind of pop in a film where, the Miz and Shawn Michaels were in it. It felt mean, but like she was the worst person in this film,
yes.
right? It felt that way to me anyway.
She kept making like the same facial expression, but it was like half laughing, half cringing, half worried, and it would just come for every scene. Like, I have no idea what she was doing in this movie, but she was awful.
She was. It's weird. I said it, and you kind of mapped it out to me and really explained it in detail as to why it is this way. Like, it is actually unfair to say Becky was the best wrestler in this film. Yeah. She's just the best person in this film, isn't she? That's pretty... I mean, I guess there's not a lot of candidates for such an honour, but even still, she was good, I thought, Becky Lynch, for the most part, right? As good as one can be in the Marine 6.
She did a good job explaining things. There was one scene that stuck out to me where they go into the adjoining room, the Marines and the little girl go into the room, and Becky is basically saying, don't kill them. We need them alive. Otherwise, why wouldn't you just... They had a shotgun that clearly shot through the wall. Why wouldn't you just keep shooting up the wall and stuff? But Becky lets them know, no, this is not what we need to do here. I thought Becky was very good as the mastermind. Her death scene was terrible, but she was very good as the mastermind behind this whole thing. The problem is, I don't know what she was trying to accomplish. She got a mistrial, but does she know, like, a mistrial just means they pick a new jury and they'll just have to do this, like, all over? Is this her plan, to just, like, keep kidnapping kids on the jury until it's just, like, 5 mistrials and then, all right, screw it, we'll just throw it all out?
Well, she celebrates the mistrial and then she's like, anyway, I've got to kill you now. I didn't understand how she thought she would kind of... I'm not sure. I'm not sure what her plan was. It feels like not a major issue in this film, which will tell you how many issues there are with it, that the actual plot point, we have no idea as to how it's supposed to work. The death scene you mentioned, right? I didn't hate the idea. What I hated was the fact that Becky had no idea what his plan was. She was like, what are you going to do with that thing, huh? Drown me? And she just walks into it. And the other thing with these... And this is more... I guess this is a commentary on, like, films now, being an old man and such. But, man, these fight sequences are terrible, aren't they? But it really is hilarious when we read so many of these wrestling debates about how choreographed everything looks. And it's like the movies are that times 25, aren't they? It just looks... Every one of these scenes... I mean, there's some moments where as wrestling fans, you laugh. Like The Miz doing a drop kick or doing, like... He does, like, John Morrison's finish off the wall at one point, which was a little bit funny. I chuckled, Shawn Michaels does not do the switching music. He runs through a wall, though, at one point.
I was very disappointed he just didn't super kick the wall.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to have to just talk about Shawn Michaels in general for a range of reasons at the end of this podcast. But I was with you. That would have been better than him just running through it. But there's just every time they get near someone, they have an extended fight with them in which they, like, grab an item and just, like, block a load of stuff with it and then hit people over the head with the item. And then they go back to fighting like normal. It's just so repetitive. And the result is that none of it feels any more important than the other. So when he dies, Miz, it's like, wow, that came out of absolutely nowhere because I've already had 20 fights like this. What's the difference, right? That's what it was to me anyway.
The bad guys are awful in their planning as usual. They have to do the whole, "Oh, gonna get you now." Just shoot them. Like, just shoot the people. Like, you only need the girl alive. You can kill the Miz. You can kill Shawn Michaels. It's okay. Like, just shoot them. It's fine.
Did you not think it was funny how, like, Sarah, obviously she's thankful she's getting saved, but there was not even a scene where she really had any care or understanding as to who these men were. She was just like, I guess these guys are going to save me and we're going to spend the next, like, 13 days, apparently. Maybe that's the case. I'm not sure. But it was almost like the filmmakers were like, okay, they got to a certain point and they kind of said to themselves, everyone that's dumb enough to watch this film knows what this film is now, so let's just not even explain any more of it, right? Like, we've given ourselves an excuse to do action. Let's just do an hour of action and get it over with. And honestly, as I sit here reviewing it, perhaps it was for the best. Perhaps it was, because the only plot point of the film, as we just realised, we were struggling enough with that, with the mistrial business, and Becky celebrating it like they were like not guilty and in the clear. So maybe it was better to just not have any dialogue or kind of explanation of what was going on. Just leave it to explosions and stuff. Maybe that was the right way.
Did they have, like, Sarah being reunited with her dad or anything? Did I just completely miss that?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Okay.
At the end,
I did miss that.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels gives a big speech about, the way, that's the life, right? Like, and he's watching poor Miz get carted off, and he goes, if I had to do it again tomorrow, I would, even knowing what happened. Bit mean, but that's the way Shawn approaches the business. And then her dad comes out and he goes, you okay? And she goes, yes, because of this guy. And Shawn's standing there with all the different physical, marks on him from all the fights he's had in that 1 day or 13 days, depending on which cut of the film you watched. My question for you is, like, we've agreed Shawn wasn't that bad, but how much more fun do we have with this film if Bret Hart is in Shawn Michaels? Because I think it would have been, like, him just not caring at all about any of this. Like, imagine Bret watching The Miz go to die. He'd just be like, look, man, it is what it is. I'm going to go get Sarah. Cool. See you later, Jake, or whatever his name is. It would have been great. I would have much preferred it.
Well, Bret owes The Miz one because The Miz put him over for the U.S. title. So maybe Bret would have sacrificed himself instead. And, I think Bret would have been more selfless in that act. Shawn Michaels, looking out for Shawn Michaels as usual. He's like, nope, he owes me one. So, yeah, go ahead, sacrifice yourself. Even though you're younger, you've carried this franchise for 4 films now. You go ahead and die. We're good. Bret would have been like, got to put the young guy over. I will go do the honors here.
It's impossible to ignore that little element of this film, even though it's obviously, it means nothing. But I thought there was a very good chance that Shawn Michaels died in this film. But it was impossible for me not to laugh at the idea of, like, of course Shawn Michaels didn't do the job, right? Like, he turned up, he beats everyone. The actual star of the franchise, as you said, he dies. But Shawn Michaels is the hero at the end of the day. It was very fitting, very on brand. I almost wonder if someone was having some fun with that, actually, now that I think about it. But, yeah, I thought Shawn was dead to rights, and that made me very happy. I thought we'd have some bits to run about that. But no, he just lives and kills everyone. Bit of a shame, really.
That's the biggest rib of all, is I knew Shawn Michaels lived, and so I gave you this film so you'd have to endure the full Shawn Michaels experience, and you would be super disappointed that he did not, in fact, die.
I thought it would be worse from Shawn's perspective. I didn't realise how little there was going to be to it as a film. What a fool I am even saying that. It's Marine 6. What do I think it was going to be, right? Any good ideas they had, they must have got rid of them in the first 5 films. So it is what it is. It's a terrible film, but I've got to admit, I would love to be sitting on here now being like, Shawn is, embarrassingly bad, and he's doing all the silly faces and the sorry I love you and all that business. He's fine, right? He's Shawn Michaels without the cowboy hat. He's fine. The only good thing about Shawn in films is because it's scripted for him, like, he can just say the dialogue in one fluent motion rather than all the kind of gesticulating he does in real life, right? That was a positive for me, at least. So, in fact, I would go as far as say, I don't know what the character's name is, but I prefer this Shawn Michaels than the real one that appears on every WWE program in the Arrow Network.
You prefer Marine Shawn Michaels to degenerate Shawn Michaels?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Any Shawn. The worst Shawn Michaels of all, though, and I'm going to just go off from the film now because, my God, the Marine 6, terrible. Did you ever see him on Table for Three with Nash and AJ?
Yes. It's been a long... Like, I watched it when it first came out, but I do remember watching it.
So I watched it when it first came out, and I was recently watching. My brother wanted to watch. We were going through Terror Freeze, and we watched this one, right? And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, it is 20 minutes of Shawn Michaels explaining to AJ why he would not wrestle.
Yeah.
And he's like, and in hindsight, now that he wrestled at Saudi Arabia, it's even funnier because he's like, it was the perfect end. And Kevin Nash is sitting like, what is wrong with my friend Shawn? He talks the whole time. He's rambling about this, that. Would we have chemistry? And AJ's like, dude, it's fine. Just leave it there. That is the worst of real life Shawn. Not because he's being a dick, it's just unbearable.
My favorite bit on that is where he's like, well, who goes over? Like you can tell, like you can tell, like I ain't putting this guy over, but Shawn has to be diplomatic about it, and he just can't say like I ain't putting you over. So he's like, then who goes over? What do we do about that? And all this stuff. I do love Talking Head Shawn Michaels. You've seen the Click documentary that they've done, right?
Oh no, I have not.
Oh, you haven't?
I would never ever watch that thing. No way, no way would I watch it.
Does that count as a movie starring a wrestler? Can I pick that for?
Yes, you can pick it. I'd much rather you pick it than Marine 4.
You've seen the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels sit down thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all the same Shawn Michaels. Like you said, the Table of Three stuff. Like the Click documentary, Shawn Michaels is essentially just, the rehashing stuff. And Shawn's like, yeah, I don't remember this, but it was probably true. The Shane Douglas thing just couldn't really cut it, but nice guy and all this stuff. He's so diplomatic in what he's trying to say. And then you got like Sean Waltman on there who's like, yeah, we were probably dicks to that dude. Like, whatever, forget him. Like, he wasn't any good. So I just say what you feel. You don't have to do this like diplomatic stuff.
Yeah, he's very interesting. I'm not a Shawn guy. A lot of it, I oversell it a little bit. Shawn was great, and God bless him. He seems to be happy. He's ruining NXT, which is great for everyone. We could ban it in a couple of weeks. Thanks for that, Shawn. He seems happy enough, and most people nowadays have good things to say about him, right? But I'm so with you that when he does these interview things, he just comes across so insincere, right? Like he's so desperate to show you that he's a mature adult that he comes across the opposite of it. Like the Bret one is just a fascinating piece of film because Bret is just sitting still and like just calculated in talking about all the terrible things that happened to him in the WWF. And Shawn's like, maybe, might happen, maybe it didn't. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe I was, not sure. Maybe it was Hunter. Ask Hunter about this. And Jim Ross, a couple of times Jim Ross has to like push him on it. But yeah, I never enjoy it when he's on those deals. But I'm not anti-Shawn. I just don't like him. I guess I am anti-Shawn. I'll tell you about Jeremy. Can I just tell you about? I am anti-Shawn Michaels. Come at me, bro. I don't care.
Big statement by Joel Hulbert. I like Shawn Michaels. I have no issue with Shawn outside of, I guess he's ruining NXT. But as far as in-ring performance, like, I think he's amazing. He'll always be one of my favorites. I do find what he's become pretty funny, though.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal with Shawn. It's like, I think if someone tells you they think he sucks, they're doing a bit, probably, right? Because, I mean, he has a lot of great matches, and a great match, obviously we all like different types of matches, but if the audience is going wild by the end of it, it was probably a very good match. And he did that a lot on big shows, big occasions against good opponents. And bad opponents. I'm not knocking him. I guess my issue with the Shawn Michaels dialogue is this thing where it's like, if you don't have him as the greatest wrestler to ever enter a ring, you are just immediately an animal. Like, you're a villain, a crook. Like, I've never got more hate. Jeremy, you know the things I discuss on the Twitter. I'm a villain at times on the Twitter. And the day that I said AJ Styles is better than Shawn Michaels, I may as well have, the quote tweet bombs that were being thrown my direction. It could have ended this podcast, Jeremy. It was an off week for us and only melted the whole thing. So I struggle with that dialogue. But he's a great wrestler. And he was, again, I'm going to reiterate it. I wanted to laugh at him in this film. He was fine. He was good as Shawn Michaels.
Is Seth Rollins better than Shawn Michaels?
No. Okay. Seth Rollins can't lace Shawn Michaels' boots. He's a good wrestler, Seth Rollins. Very, very much so. But, let's be honest, okay? Same opponent opposite him. You can pick one to have the best match of the night to save your life. Which one are you going with every single time, right? It's Shawn. That's just the way it is. So, I'm not a fool, and I wouldn't make up something like that, but I don't think... I'm a Bret guy, basically is what I'm saying. Are you a Bret or a Shawn guy, Jeremy? I thought you were a Bret guy at heart.
Growing up, I was always a Shawn guy. Not gonna lie. Completely Shawn Michaels guy. As I have aged and matured, I lean more towards Bret nowadays. I think Shawn has not his in-ring career. I think he has done damage to his he did damage to his in-ring career with that Saudi performance. He was actually the best wrestler in that
Yes,
match,
he was. Yeah.
but just coming back and doing that match in general, like he had the perfect ending, and then he just had to do this match. But he's hurt his career just like with everything he's done afterwards, like not in-ring stuff, but everything else, like these documentary bits, the NXT stuff, constantly appearing on television. It's just too much. I like people who they retire, they kind of go away, maybe they say a thing or two, they're not just like constantly there.
Yeah, I mean, there is a truth to, like, Brett's style is more fundamental, and that will naturally just age better, right? Like, it's the same reason that a lot of the high flyers from 25 years ago, their stuff was way ahead of its time, but it may not age as well to someone who's never watched wrestling before 2015. Does that make sense? Like, it's just,
Yeah.
Brett's style is always going to age better because it's more, like, simple and it's rooted in story than, cool moves. Because when Shawn, people forget this now, and I don't want to sound like that guy. I don't want to do the thing about there's 101 super kicks in every match, but, like, seriously, it is pretty wild, right? Like, Shawn's super kick was a big deal, and now there's, everyone does a super kick. So, it's hard. Shawn was great, definitely. And the other thing as well is he had that chance to come back. His career is very, very different without that, 6 years he tacked on at the end there, where he had matches like Kurt and the Ric Flair match and the many, many classics of Triple H that went hours and hours and hours and hours of time. So that helps too, right?
Yeah, I've had this debate with my friend of, is Shawn Michaels' second career better than his first? And it probably is. Like, there's a lot of great matches in that second half of his career where Brett, I mean, you can pretty much just end it at his WWE run. The WCW stuff, there was nothing there. And like people say Brett damaged his career with the WrestleMania stuff. Look, that Vince nonsense was bad, but that was to be expected. That was never going to be like an actual wrestling match. It was still terrible, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But it was never meant to be anything else. Like the Saudi Arabia match was supposed to be something, and it still just completely sucked.
Well, look, I don't think we're not the guys to vilify people for taking money, right? I mean, this is what wrestling is, but I think the issue with Shawn is he made such a big celebration of his own retirement, right? Like he told you at every turn, that was the perfect send-off for me. The storybook ending with a barbershop fit start and then that way. And then he just comes back and does a bad tag match. It was like, it kind of damaged his, the way that he represented his own retirement, really. Because let's be honest, we don't take any of these retirements seriously. But he had actively asked us to take his one seriously, and then he squandered it for Saudi. So I'm with you. I find it interesting. I find it very interesting in general, the discussion of like, you said Seth, right? There are guys Seth was better than. I'm not going to name any because I can't think of any off the top of my head that were stars beforehand. And if you tweeted it, people would still get mad at you because sometimes we protect the past too much, and other times we're too quick to crown today. So that's a thing that is what it is. When all these guys retire, you'll have more context on where they rank or whatever. But for me, Shawn Michaels, great professional wrestler, not always my style. I mean, you know the layers. I struggle with layers, don't I, Jerry? Sometimes all of the facials, the community theatre was not my thing. But he's a great wrestler. I'm not going to do a bit like that. Actor, he is in the top 3 of this film. And that's all you can say, right? That's all you can say, Jeremy.
I do think Shawn Michaels stuff, it ages poorly because, like you said, everyone does it now.
Yes.
Like the overacting, dramatic, talk to you during matches stuff, the super kicks, the spots and whatnot. Like if you watch that nowadays, it's like, all right, literally just watch an NXT match and it's the same match that Shawn Michaels did. But back then, like this is all fresh and new and great. And so Shawn probably gets knocked for that unfairly, because those matches are still great in my mind.
And also, like, 2 of his most iconic matches from the 90s were the first of that type of match. So, like, you have the Razor match with the ladder, right? And you have the Cell match with Taker, both of which are legitimately great matches. I'm not here to do the retroactive, was it that good? They are great, but to someone that hadn't, if someone sat down now and watched them, having watched all the recent ones, it would just be difficult to understand how big time it was because, my God, I mean, the Razor match, they have that ladder and they work with the ladder. Nowadays, we've discussed this before, there's all these ladders, people are breaking them in half and such. The Cell matches, that match is like more of a story, right? Shawn's trying to escape the Cell, Taker's just trying to punish him, and then you have Kane. I don't know if it would hit as much if someone just watched it with modern eyes, is basically my point. So that's why the more recent stuff probably ages better, because it's closer to obviously the contemporary stuff. Probably, I'd assume.
Yeah. Any, anything else on this film, Joe? I want to just keep debating Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. That's what this has turned into, because we have nothing for this movie.
I mean, the craziest thing is I have notes here, and I have discussed all the notes, and I have also done like 10 minutes on Shawn Michaels the wrestler, and it's still, I have nothing. I have nothing to add. I did have one little thing. Should they make Marine 7? I should have mentioned this earlier when you asked me who could replace him. I'm not sure anyone can replace The Miz. He was an extraordinary actor, big time star, A-lister, all that good stuff. Should the next Marine be all of the Forgotten Sons? That's my question.
No. I'm shocked you went all of the Forgotten Sons and not just Wesley Blake.
Yeah, I didn't want to come across biased, did I, Jeremy?
Are you picking Wesley Blake as the next Marine, like instead of Austin Theory?
I mean, look, I think very highly of Wesley, and I have a lot of fun with this, but I'm not sure how much of a leading actor he is. I'm going to be honest. His promos would suggest to me that would not be his forte. I think the other one that everyone seems to dislike because of his Twitter is probably the one, Gunner. What's his name now? What's Gunner's name now, Jeremy? You might know this.
Riker, I think.
Thank you. Yes,
right.
I think he would probably be the lead, and Cutler and Blake would be like the co-stars, I would assume.
Whatever gets them off television for however long the filming takes place, I'm completely fine with that.
Can we talk about the fact that on WWE TV, with how they produce their tag division, the Forgotten Sons are literally just the Revival? Like, there's no difference with how they use these teams. Am I right in saying this? Because I'm pretty sure that's the truth.
Every team it's all the Orlando Magic, Joe. Like, they're
Yes.
just all the Orlando Magic. They have maybe different personalities, but every team is the same.
Yeah, like, literally, I think both of us agree, right? The Revival may be the best team in the world on their best day, but with how they do tag team wrestling, it makes no difference. It could be me and you doing it, couldn't it? It could be us out there working a heat segment on the New Day. It wouldn't make a difference, Jerry. It's all the same. It's a 6-minute TV match. So I think there's way too much, and I'm going to end the podcast like this. Can we just do 40 minutes on the Forgotten Sons? We got time, Jeremy? Do you want to go through it now?
Yeah, we're 42 minutes into this show. We got time.
Oh, good. Okay, so I brought up a campaign recently, right? And I don't know when this was, what show this was. We recorded a lot of content. I was trying to get some sort of hashtag going. I have forgotten it. I'll concede that. I've forgotten the hashtag. But I'm pretty sure no one else was picking up on it. I'm going to be honest, and I'm a bit disappointed. I'm wondering if everyone's watching SmackDown. Because if you're watching SmackDown and you're still hitting send tweet on all these very mean things about the sons that have been forgotten, I don't know what you're missing out on, folks. Wesley Blake is doing topes. He's doing he's doing topes, right? He's he's an elite tag team wrestler, Jeremy. What are we missing here? You got to explain it to me. Spell it out for me.
They're not good. That's it. They're just not good. They were introduced as, I mean, they're the forgotten. It's very tough to get excited for a team that is literally, these are people we've forgotten about.
Okay, look. Would you rather...
They should be called the Memorable Sons.
Okay. I'm asking you this now, okay? Here's your option. Raw is starting tomorrow, okay? Opening segment. Forgotten Sons, vignette and match with the Lucha House Party, or a 10-minute Seth Rollins Messiah promo. Which would you rather watch?
Do I have to watch either?
Be honest, Jeremy.
Do I have to watch either?
Yes, you do. You're a professional.
Oh, God. Just give me the tag team match. It's 10 minutes regardless, right? Yeah, yep. I can watch a mid-level WWE tag team match for 10 minutes more than I'd rather watch Seth Rollins talk about whatever for 10 minutes. If you cut the Seth Rollins promo to 5 minutes, I will take a 5-minute Seth Rollins promo over a 10-minute mid-level WWE tag team match.
I mean, that's fair. But that's not the rules I set, so I'm ignoring that comment. By the way, could we just spare a moment of thought for like the Seth Rollins fan that has avoided our show in recent times because of our criticism? They saw the Marine 6 review. This must be a clear. This must be a safe one without any Seth slander. And then you dropped the bomb of, is Seth Rollins better than him? Which was you just giving me a license to be mean about Seth Rollins. I'm sorry, everyone. I like the Messiah. I like he has one glove, and he talks
It's
quietly and
black, Joe.
somberly.
It's a black
It is.
glove.
It is very, very cutting edge, if you ask. Speaking of cutting edge, Shawn Michaels in this. Have you ever seen his work as a degenerate, Jeremy? Because he was very, very edgy. I don't know if you've heard.
Not. I mean, he was wearing a face mask in the NXT bit. That's not very degenerate like.
He sold out, bro. He sold out. Ever since they won the wars, that guy's not been the same. They used to be degenerates, didn't they? Remember when they invaded WCW Nitro and they like invaded? And a tank, bro, a tank. They definitely. Often people will say they'll be like, oh, Steve Austin was over, and I'm like, who won the war really? They had the tank, didn't they? The degenerates did. Of course they did. How do people not see this stuff?
That wasn't Shawn Michaels though, but I guess Shawn Michaels still deserves credit for coming up with the entire idea. I just assume Shawn Michaels came up. I mean, he came up with DX, so everything that DX did is Shawn Michaels' idea.
That is actually, I'm going to just go off into another topic. That is actually an interesting part of the DX canon. Is that like Shawn Michaels' DX is actually very, very different to the DX that everyone recognises, isn't it? Like it's actually a separate thing, unless I'm mistaken. Because DX with Shawn Michaels as the leader was, with Chyna and Rude, and then Rude left. Rude wasn't there for very long, I don't think. But Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and X-Pac, that was all post Shawn, was it not? Yeah. Why does no one talk about this? Is it just not interesting? I'm not sure.
Everybody just remembers the Triple H stuff more because
he's such a big star. Yeah,
I mean that's what launched Triple H kind of to the next level. The Shawn Michaels stuff, like Michaels is. I much prefer the Shawn Michaels stuff. I don't know how well any of this ages. I haven't really gone back to watch it. I haven't really gone back to watch any of it. But like as a kid, the Shawn Michaels stuff felt like really edgy for the time, and the DX stuff just felt like they were just doing things.
Yeah, because after he left, it was really just a long transition to Triple H becoming the Game, wasn't it? When he became the Game, Jeremy, he became the Game and the King of Kings and the cerebral assassin. An incredible career. We need to do a whole show, in my opinion, about Triple H.
Real quickly, because it's on my mind that no one will get this bit, but I'm going to say it on air anyway. We've been talking on our TEW game. People are going to watch the TEW series 6 weeks from now and be like, oh yeah, they talked about this 6 weeks ago on the Marine 6 review.
No, they're not. They're be like, what is wrong with these people? Carry on, yes.
Don't ruin it for me, Joe. Look, our show's called The Distraction for a reason. We both have ADHD and we just get all over the place. I don't know if that's true about either of us. But, okay.
I don't think it is. Yes, carry on.
So, on our TEW game, we keep talking what's Drew McIntyre's nickname, and it's not the Scottish Psychopath anymore. I know what it is now, Joe, because I had to write an article on. I had to write the match you booked for Backlash, the main event. Drew McIntyre's new nickname, now that he's a babyface, he's no longer a psychopath. The Scottish Superstar.
Aren't they all superstars?
That's what they've come up with.
It?
Yes, the Scottish Superstar.
That's terrible. Why is that? Honestly, I mean, I don't want to talk about wrestling because this isn't our day for that, but does any of it matter when Lashley's going to choke him out in like 2 minutes of Backlash, right?Lashley's going to shoot on him. You know this is going to happen, right, Jeremy? I've spoken it. Into action. Bobby Lashley, you're next. WWE champion. Coming to you soon.
Like, let's not ruin all of our topics for Thursday's show. We're going to have nothing if we talk about McIntyre and Lashley on this show. What were we talking about?
We talk about Wesley Blake and Bret Hart.
What's Wesley Blake's nickname besides the Forgotten Son? They're all Forgotten Sons. Forgotten Son A?
He was once, and I know no one in the world knows this other than me, but in NXT he was once Beautiful Blake. Do you know this? He had a whole bit as like, when Tyler Breeze left, he picked that gimmick up, basically. And he got no love from wrestling journalists like yourself, Jeremy, which is very sad.
I was not covering NXT at the time. Were you doing the report cards during this time?
Oh, God.
Is that how you knew about it?
A terrible time for me. I never saw much. I think the second report card I did, I saw Wesley Blake wrestle, and I never saw him again. And I did it for 2 years. So, yeah, it was.
And you haven't seen him since.
No, he's been forgotten, hasn't he? He's been forgotten. But he's a big star now on the Big Fox on SmackDown, right? That's what I hear, anyway.
Yeah, Fox is. I mean, it's doing well. I think Fox is happy. It seems like it's on the schedule for the fall. Joe hasn't been canceled. That's all you can say about it.
I did like that headline, by the way. SmackDown stays on Friday. I was like, geez, I didn't even know that was a topic. I didn't even know it was going to be moved to like Monday mornings or something. But I think we've made an error here, Jeremy. I think we shouldn't have reviewed this film. We should have just watched like a Bret Hart documentary and just not even announced that there was a change. You should have opened with, anyway, we watched Marine 6. Now, on to the best there is. That would have been great. I would have preferred you done that.
You got to tell me these things off air, and we should actually like talk about stuff beforehand instead of just coming on the air and being like, all right, let's do this show.
I guess we have to rate this film, don't we?
Oh, we do. All right, let me pull up the ratings here in my notes.
Okay. And I also need to pick next week's film, do I not?
Your lowest rating was the main event at a 2. What are you going to give the Marine 6?
The film I was using as a kind of like scale for this was The Chaperone, because to me they're both like just really kind of cheap, bad.
So you just went
WWE
Shawn
studio.
Michaels and Triple H is basically what you did.
Oh, we need to talk about Randy. But anyway, coming back to that, Triple H, The Chaperone, I give what, a 3?
The Chaperone you gave a 4.
Okay. What I was going to say was, Jerry,
I think you did the 4 out of 10 bit. I think that's why you gave it a 4.
I definitely didn't do that. I'm telling you, I'd probably just give it I honestly think The Chaperone is much better than this. There's actual like, ideas and plot points in that. So I'm going to give this a 2 to match it alongside the illustrious main event.
All right, fair enough.
Yes.
What are we talking about, Randy? Or do I need to give my rating first?
Not Randy Orton. I'm talking about Randy from No Holds Barred. Carry on, give me a rating.
Oh, okay. For this, my lowest rating is also the main event at 2 stars. Look, this film, I much prefer the main event. The main event, at least there's some laughs, intentional or not. Like, it's wrestling related, so we had jokes. We literally spent half of this podcast talking about the careers of Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Wesley Blake, and some other stuff.
Yes. Best podcast we've done. I agree.
I am giving this a 0.5 star, and that is all for Becky Lynch. That's it. Becky Lynch gets this film a 0.5 star.
That's fair enough. And my Randy point, people are getting excited because they thought we were going to talk about Randy Orton.
I thought we were going to talk about Randy Orton.
I have a question for you, a final question, I assume. Shawn Michaels, possibly a better actor than the man that played Randy in No Holds Barred. True or false?
Oh, 100%. I think Shawn Michaels is actually too good for the role of Randy, now that we've talked about this.
Okay, so maybe he should be ripped.
And The Miz can be Randy.
Yes. And then Miz can be beaten up again on behalf of poor Shawn Michaels. Do I have to pick next week's film, Jeremy? Because I do have a candidate.
Yes, it is your turn to pick.
I think we had a lot of fun in the Hulk Hogan cinematic universe a couple of weeks back. We are going back there.
Yes.
For a major motion picture, which I'm pretty sure, could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure it also stars Undertaker for a fleeting moment. Suburban Commando.
Awesome.
Is our next film, Jeremy Lambert. Are you excited?
Very excited. I remember watching this film many times as a kid.
I think it's going to be possibly funnier than what we got in Holds Barred, and that is a real feat. We need a home run here. We need a Hogan safe bet, bad acting, bad film. This was far too competent in its incompetence, wasn't it? It was too solid in its terribleness, unfortunately.
When you said we were going back to Hogan, it had to be either... Look, there's 3, aside from No Holds Barred, there's like 4 classic Hogan films that you can go to. No Holds Barred is 1, Suburban Commando, Mr. Nanny, and Thunder in Paradise. Like, any of those 4 you can go to, and you're going to get good content, because Hulk Hogan is just Hulk Hogan in all of them, and that's all you need.
There's a very good chance they are my selections moving forward, because, I mean, at this point, it may be our only outlet for humour in this show. I think the Chaperone, as I look back on the Chaperone, maybe we should have saved that for like a later date, because that Triple H being in that role is really as good as it was going to get from modern ones, right? I feel like it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a WWE Studios gem awaiting us, but I sense there is not. I sense we're going to have a lot of ones like this right now.
This was honestly very poor planning on my part. One, because I was just trying to do something with Shawn Michaels to rib you, and the Becky Lynch stuff was timely. We're recording the show on May 19th. It would have been an easy, just see no evil bit, and we could have talked about that whole storyline with Kane. I've never seen this film either. I mean, I've never seen Marine 6, but it would have been a very easy just tie-in to do May 19th. And if I had the foresight to think about that, I probably would have done it. Instead, me trying to prank Joe with Shawn Michaels was my first thought, and it completely backfired because this movie was just terrible.
Well, here's what I'd say. If when your next selection comes round, you indeed run the see no evil bit, I, on behalf of the Distraction audience, will tell you that we will all pretend it is actually the correct date to do that bit. We will all just be like, oh yeah, that's really timely, and we'll never speak of it again. We'll watch the film, and then we'll talk about Luke Gallows for an hour. We'll do that, okay? Sound good to you? Look, this was what it was. We talked about Wesley Blake, Bret Hart. We learnt a lot, and that's all you can ask for on this program.
We're 100% going with a John Cena film next. I don't know which film it is. He's a major star. He's been in a lot of them. But you're going safe with Hulk Hogan, which I appreciate. We've got to go with John Cena. We've got to break the John Cena virginity movie review on this show. So next week, just prepare yourself for a John Cena pick.
And that is also a prank in its own way, because that will become us sort of going in depth on John Cena and all the ups and the downs of Cena. Or in your case, just ups, right?
Yes.
You love yourself some Cena. So that will be easier, I think. I think that film, and I know what you're going to pick, but he hasn't done like films as bad as this, I would hope, I would assume. So yeah, that makes sense. I'm on board with that.
All right, everybody. Don't watch the Marine 6. We appreciate you listening to the watch. As Joe said, if you're going to watch it, skip to about the 120-minute mark. Watch the tribute video for the Miz's character. It'll bring you to tears. I'm 99% sure the song they play is "Tell Me a Lie." Watch the tribute video. Don't watch the rest of the film. It doesn't matter. It's not good. We will be back on Thursday with wrestling talk, which we did today. I have no idea what we're talking about Thursday now, because we've talked about
as though Wesley Blake was going to be a topic with Bret Hart.
I mean, we'll talk Double or Nothing. That's this weekend, I believe. We will talk about that. We'll find something to talk about. Saturday is our TEW series. Joe has a feature out on Friday. Yes, I've seen it in the system. I've read it. If you would like early access, slide in my DMs, pay me. Whatever Joe is asking, take $1 off of that. I will undercut him at all costs. By all costs, I mean $1. So if you want the feature early, come to me. I will give you early access to that.
Yes.
Joseph, they can follow you on Twitter at JoelHulbert5. Anything else?
I don't think so. I just, I wanted to kind of piggyback on that announcement you made there. I have unretired again, folks. So I'm like the Terry Funk of professional wrestling writing. The article, I will not tell you who it's about, but it is quite good, and it was a suggestion on the Twitter. So it's just proof that I sometimes listen to the folks that read my work, which is nice of me, isn't it? I didn't ask for money. I didn't ask for money, but I will accept money if you would like to suggest one moving forward. Also, Bret Hart is better. That's all I wanted to say. Carry on.
You can follow me on Twitter at Jeremy Lambert 88. I did not plug the hashtag. I don't need to. Everyone knows right there. Hashtag the distraction. Trending worldwide, as always, right now, as we were speaking. So we'll be back on Thursday, and we will talk to everybody then.